Today we are talking about area of parallelograms. Okay, remember parallelograms are a four-sided figure where there are two sets of parallel lines. Lines run exactly the same direction. So if they continued forever and ever in both directions, they would never cross. Okay, so parallel lines run next to each other but never crisscross. Okay, and a parallelogram has two sets of those parallel lines. Okay, you'll notice that a rectangle is a specific type of parallelogram. Okay, it has two sets of parallel lines. So when we talk about area of a parallelogram, we're going to first talk about this area of a rectangle, which is base times the height. Okay, base times height, okay, or length times width, you might have learned. All right, so if this base here is, let's say, 6 inches, and the height here is 3 inches, the total area of this figure would be 6 times 3, which would be 18 inches squared. Okay, it is two-dimensional, base and the height, or length and the width, which means it is inches squared because it is two-dimensional. Okay, so we use this formula to find area of a rectangle. And as we said before, a rectangle is a specific type of parallelogram. So if we take a look at this parallelogram I have drawn right below, and I just draw a dotted line right here, and this triangle here just happens to be the exact same size as this little missing triangle right here. So really, we have a rectangle. It's the same exact size as this rectangle here with the base of 6, when that base is 6, and that height here is 3. It's the exact same size. So we use the same formula. Area equals base times height, okay? And the base is 6 and the height is 3. So we multiply those together, and that gives us area equals 18 inches squared. Again, it is two-dimensional, so it's squared. Okay? So this is how we find area of a parallelogram. We multiply the base and the height. One thing to note is the base and the height are perpendicular to one another, which means they meet at a 90-degree angle. Okay, so when I look at this parallelogram here, okay, there is also this distance here. Okay, this is not the height of a parallelogram. It does not meet at a 90-degree angle. So when you have a parallelogram, you need to find the 90-degree angle and draw a line straight down to find that. That line can be inside the parallelogram, or you can use the one outside of the parallelogram to find that height. But it goes from the top of the shape to the bottom of the shape directly vertical, okay? Or perpendicular rather to the base. Okay, so that is very important that we use perpendicular lines to find the base and the height. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at some more difficult type of problems here when it comes to finding area of a parallelogram. So we are finding the area of the parallelogram here. The pattern shows a dimension of a square plot of tulips. Find the area of the section containing orange tulips. Okay, so again, this is a really tall and skinny parallelogram, but you can see here the base is 4.5, and the height is from the top of the parallelogram all the way to the bottom vertically. All right, so this is where the 90-degree angle is right here. Okay, you can't even find the vertical completely inside, it drops outside of that line. Okay, so the height happens to be the same as the edge of this square plot of tulips. Okay, so the height is 17 and a half. The base is 4.5. So in order to find area of a parallelogram, I am doing base times the height. And we said that base is 4.5, and I multiply it by my height, which is 17 and a half. I multiply those and I get my area is 78.75 feet squared. Okay, don't forget it's squared. It's two-dimensional. Okay, base and that height. Again, I had to find where they are perpendicular to one another. And that height was outside of that parallelogram. Okay, let's try another one here. The pattern shows the dimensions of a set of blocks. Find the area of the green block. Okay, so right here is the green. We have a base of 2.7, and my height is this distance here. Well, that part's not labeled, so I got to find something that's the same. So I'm looking this direction, and I see, oh, they have it marked right here, 2.4. So again, area equals base times height. So area is 2.7 times 2.4, which is going to give me an area of 6.48 centimeters squared. Okay, 6 and 48 hundredths centimeters squared. There are two more for you to try like that here. Now let's take a look at one where we have a missing base or height. Okay, if we have a missing base or height. Okay, so they give us the parallelogram, they show us the height and the base and the total area. So we're using the same formula, area equals base times height. Okay, we are substituting into our formula to solve here. Okay, A is 27, so 27 equals base we don't know, so it stays a B. Height is 3. Okay, so we substitute that in. Okay, now I could also rewrite this as 27 equals 3b because your order of your multiplication doesn't matter here. Now I'm just solving a one-step equation. Remember, in order to solve equations, I have to keep both sides balanced. So in order to do that, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. In this case, I need to get b by itself. So I am going to divide by b or by 3. Okay, that is going to be 3 divided by 3 is 1, so that leaves 1b. Then 27 divided by 3 is 9. Okay, so b is 9. So my base is going to be 9 inches. And I can double check my work. Area equals 9 base times 3. 9 times 3 is 27 inches squared. That is correct. So my base equals 9 inches. All right, let's try it for the height. What if my height is the missing piece? I use the same formula. Area equals base times height. Okay, so I have my area they give me is 32. Again, substituting in just for the numbers they give us. B is 4. And my height is h. We don't know it yet. Okay, so 32 equals 4h. Again, to get h by itself, I have to keep it balanced. I'm going to divide by 4 to separate those out. That's going to leave me with h. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. And 32 divided by 4 is 8. So your height is 8 meters. And again, you can double check that. 8 times 4 equals your area. So 32 meters squared is your area. And that is correct. Is your height. Okay. There are two more right here that you can try on your own, just like that.